What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about NIO. I want to go over some of the data points, latest and updates, and everything else you need to know. But first, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So NIO is down 7.75% pre-market. So it is getting hit alongside much of the greater market because of this right here. So logically, like Trump putting forth all those tariffs, there was going to be a lot of retaliation, and now a lot of individuals are going to be kind of associating what is happening to pretty much the dirty 30s. But today China did strike back against the states, doing a 34% tariff on all goods, and ultimately this is going to be starting on April the 10th, so pretty much 1 week for a leg. And the reason being that they're giving an opportunity for the states just to kind of admit defeat and pull or reduce their tariffs. So yeah, I think this is a very, very interesting scenario, and it's kind of comical on how everything is playing out. So White House officials, many of them yesterday, stated that Trump is set on the tariffs, not going to budge one bit. And then later in the day, he tweets saying that he is open to negotiating the tariffs if there is a phenomenal deal. So just a lot of crap, a lot of grayness, and you're actually getting a lot of that grayness from NIO. So roughly, what was it, 2 weeks ago, leading into the earnings, ultimately they stated that they're going to do layoffs and cut expansion, which is fairly good. They were going to do cost cutting measures. Then 1 week later, they say, hey, hold on, we're not actually going to be doing any layoffs. The latest and updates now is this right here. So exclusive, NIO cuts jobs in Europe, aims to slash global operational costs by 25%. So I don't know who flips more, NIO or Trump, but nonetheless, this is not what the market wants to see. So yeah, this is rather comical. But aside from that, though, one thing that was rather interesting is after NIO did put out their March numbers, we have yet to see any ratings. So normally every time they put out their monthly, you get like one or two at the very bare minimum for ratings. So the fact that we haven't received anything is kind of interesting. I don't know, maybe they're just waiting for all this tariff type of scenario to subside and then they'll give ratings. But yeah, it's not necessarily the best kind of day. And even aside from that, just over the last like 5 days, it still does show up 3.36%, but that's not encumbering so far this morning. Over the last month, though, it is down 15.86%. So NIO, it has been absolutely slaughtered. And I think that's also to do with the technicals, so I'll go over that in a second. The only other thing that really came out, which did save NIO, so I did another pre-market video yesterday, which pointed that it was going to go down, but honestly, NIO did do fairly well yesterday because of this. So this came out yesterday, so NIO to supply EV tech to McLaren. So that's going to be under 𝗖𝗎𝗓, but nonetheless, I think that this is good. Another stock that I do cover is Lucid, and having these types of licensing deals is key. So even though essentially you don't have to rely so much on ramping up and deliveries, you can get a lot of good revenue through this. So this is good in my opinion, and that is why it did do fairly well yesterday. So let me know your general thoughts on all of that. Right now, shorts are increasing 116,000 shares pre-market, so they're not really all that active, but 15.05% of the free float is being shorted. It works out to be 218.17 million shares overall are being shorted. With today being Friday, just take note of the open interest. So you have 2,000 at that 350, 29,000 at that 4, 15,000 at that 450. So not really crazy. Shorts aren't going to increase just to try to suppress it below that 350. They'll probably just let it ride. So yeah, it is not really much to take away from all this information. But right now with it at $3.51, it's recovering slightly during the pre-market. But 351, it is trading between this S1 and this S2. So 356 is going to be a key kind of point to really get over today. So hopefully the market sees some good value going on and could really push higher. But I think because of all these types of tariff scenarios that are playing out, you're going to see multiple different countries cutting rates. And it's not just to kind of avoid inflation or stuff like that, or to combat that. It is to avoid a recession. So that's maybe a positive thing for a lot of stocks such as NIO and other growth stocks, that having lower rates might be advantageous. So that could be coming at least in probably the next couple of weeks. But aside from that, though, on the actual chart itself, as I mentioned, there's not really much positives to really bring up about this. It is below that super trend, so that is a very similar scenario to October. So all of this downtrend is pretty much playing out exactly what happened here. So honestly, the only positive is the fact that it is oversold, like very much so. But at the end of the day, fear and greed index is under the extreme fear category, and it is at 6. So people's appetite for risk isn't necessarily on the table. So they're not really going to be out there looking for value plays such as NIO. So let me know your thoughts on NIO. Are you buying the dip? Are you selling? Discouraged? What are you doing with NIO? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And then one final thing, pop over to my Patreon and give buy signals on stocks, options, or crypto. Many of them have been absolutely on point, so definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.